Hi again to all you wonderful people. It's another week of talking on the series of Weird My Newsroom, which I believe is episode 95, where this week we're talking the usual fares on new releases, trailers, and news stories, as well as coming to the slight aging of me becoming something funnier than 24. But let's not focus on that idea, and let's delve into what we can talk about from all things media for this week. So on new releases for this week is with a film that is taking us to the realm of the big streaming giant that will have us going back in time to the days before the dawn of the new century for a time in an alternate past where it's time for machines to rise, but in a more misunderstood way, as we have the newest Russo Brothers movie for Netflix of The Electric State. The film will be set in an alternate history version of 1994 America and based on the graphic novel of the same name, and sees a world change from the outset effect of a conflict between man and robots, that nearly wiped them out or have them ostracized. The film will then follow Michelle, played by Millie Bobby Brown, who is apparently approached by a small robot who knows about her missing brother, and with the help of the bot and some other survivors, including a man named Keats, played by Chris Pratt, they will head off on a journey across the country to find her brother, who she believed to have died, and also helps the robots to rise up against the conflict that had affected their lives and programming. Reception on this new film has not been really well received at all, with praise given to the visual aesthetics and some respect to the looks of the original art book. The performances, the story, and the eye-watering production budget of over $300 million were some of the big problems to be seen, and could have been used for more respect to the original art book or graphic novel. But for the case you want to check this out for yourself, you can catch this new film out now on Netflix. Now this week there's not much movies that I don't know too much on, besides the case of one that I'll talk on is the third one, which kind of is also a new release next week, and we'll fly through a fair amount of them for this week. So we'll start with the newest films in creation from the mind of Game of Thrones creator George R. R. Martin, with the new movie of In the Lost Lands. The film follows a witch traveling to a place known as the Lost Lands on a journey to search for a magical power to allow the person to transform themselves into a werewolf. Now, our reception, this title has seen a sense of mixed or underwhelming reception, as while the concept ideas from Martin had great potential and appeal, the execution from the director feels much to be desired and had some alright performances from the main leads of Dave Bautista and Mila Djokovic. If you want something of a bit of a classic popcorn flick, you can catch this new film out now in cinemas in regards. Now for the next film, there's one that I can give a little bit of focus to, as there is a bit to talk on it, and for once it is the first focus of a foreign language movie that I can think of from this series, or more next week given its actual release. Some guys have seen this previously, but I'm going to count it, as you have the all-new animated film of Ni Za 2. Now, based on the Chinese mythology and the novel of Investiture of the Gods, it follows the separation of the souls of Ni Za and Io Bing from the events of a catastrophe, and we'll see the former character go on a massive journey while trying to disguise himself from being an immortal to find a magical elixir to restore his dragon friend back to full health. The reception of this film has been seeing some massive critical acclaim with praise to its visuals, the story, and its action set pieces, and since its release in China back in the end of January, it has been a pop cultural phenomenon that is now the highest grossing animated film of all time, the first to cross $2 billion, and as of recording it's the 5th highest grossing movie of all time. And this is mostly just coming from one market of China, which is impressive. Now, if you want to check it out for yourself, you can catch this new film out now in cinemas with sort of previews, and I think it's released properly next week, but I'm going to count it for this week in that regards. And the rest of the films for the week, the next release is the focus of a new spy thriller known simply going off as Black Bag, with this film following the intelligence agent of George Woodhouse, who must soon face the ultimate test of loyalty to his marriage or to his country when it's learned that his beloved wife Catherine is suspected of betraying her nation. And reception, this title has also been seeing some very strong high praise, the focus of its ensemble cast, its dry wit appeal, and its sleek style and appeal, making it one of the best reviewed movies of this year. If you want an all new spy film to get invested into, you can also catch this new film out now in cinemas. And the second last new release for this week is taking us for a deep plunge that will bring the fear to the depths of the oceans with the new true story thriller of Last Breath. The film is going to tell the true story of a group of seasoned deep sea divers who will battle against the raging elements to rescue a fellow crewmate who's trapped hundreds of feet below the ocean's surface with oxygen slowly running out. The reception of this title has also seen some decently well received reception, with praise to its focus on its true events that occurred and the performance of the leads of Woody Harrelson, Simu Liu, and Finn Cole. And if you're up for a film with a bit of a truth and give you a sense of dread for the ocean depths, you can catch this new one as well out now in cinemas. And in case of this last one, besides the release of the third season Wheel Time, which has so far had the best reviews for any of the 3 seasons, and the newest entry to the WWE game franchise, which has also gotten some generally favorable reviews according to Metacritic, the final release of the focus is bringing a sense of horror and how some figures in the industry can have a following that may be seen as a concern, with its last new release of this week known simply as Opus. The film will see a young writer traveling to a compound of a legendary singer who disappeared over 3 decades ago who returns with a new album. But soon surrounded by a cult of sycophants and intoxicated journalists, she soon finds herself in the middle of his twisted plot and must find a way to get out alive. Reception on this one has been hit with a bit of a mixed to underwhelming reception as well, though while the cast and concept is well interesting, it takes its time to really get going and feels lacking in its horror elements in that regards, where only I think I've seen from people saying it's the best part of the last 20 minutes. But if you want to take a trip to an album party, then you can catch the new film out now in cinemas. And in case of all that, that's all the new releases that we have for this week. So the first of the trailers we have for this week is the focus of discussion with the continued return to the realm of content that had a new take on classic stories, as we have another new edition of the live-action Disney remake. And this one is going to be a bit more of a cosmic endeavor, and it all comes in something this dangerous being a little cute and fluffy. As after a few teases that call back to the original marketing, we finally received the first trailer for the new live-action retelling of Lilo and Stitch. Now, for those uninitiated about this movie's plot, the film's story follows Lilo, a little Hawaiian girl who's a bit of a loner and odd child who must deal with the dilemma of being cared by her big sister Nani from losing custody of her from child services, and will get surprised with a visit and a friend of a small blue creature named Stitch, who turned out to be an alien experiment on the run from the Galactic Federation and from his creator. And while he is designed to be a creature that destroys, it's a case he will soon learn the importance of family and ohana along the way. So it's a case that likes these live action films can have a mixed appeal and outcome, with some having their issues or complaints, which we can probably see more next week with the big one that has the most controversy of all of them. But I think for this one it looks great and has a decent sense of charm to the entire production so far, and what I can see, Stitch looks really great as well in visual aesthetics. And I feel like there's a sense of heart to it, going from the film being helmed by the director of one of the best wholesome little movies of all time, of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. The only issues I really have mainly is the visuals kind of obliquely they showed of his alien form. It looks a bit too shiny, not fully finished, and that they're not giving him his iconic outfit changes. But besides all of that, it looks like it may be a little charming, and like smell of Faubourg cosmic chaos pretty much soon, as this film will be releasing into cinemas in about 2 months' time on May 23rd. Our second trailer for this week is about to really feel the need for speed, as this new film will explore the sport that is all about going fast and being the best, as after a bit of quietness for this project, we've finally seen a release of an all-new trailer for the upcoming film based on the sport of Formula 1. The film will follow Sonny Hayes, who's played by Brad Pitt, who has a terrible crash back in the 1990s and forced to retire from F1 and racing other disciplines. He soon comes out of retirement when an old friend, played by Javier Bardem, asks him to mentor a rookie prodigy, Joshua Pierce, on the major team of AXPGP. And while they may not get along, they will soon come together to prove their skill and worth in the world's fastest and deadliest sport. So I've seen a bit of Formula 1 in general in the off chance, and I can tell the ideal focus of this film makes sense, and given it's being directed by the guy that gave us the surprisingly really great Top Gun sequel, it's going to show from the footage and may have something that will be worth experiencing on the biggest screen possible. And everyone seen some interest and appeal to this, and I'm sure it gives us a proper look into when the film releases in about 3 months' time on June 25th. Our third trailer for the week is with a focus of a series that has a discussion that back in the early season, the likes of its stories seemed like fever dreams that would be terrifying to expect in the real world. But as the series went on and as the world changed, it became a near feeling of close to reality, and they are still work their appeal, as Charlie Brooker has returned once again to delve into the messed up ideals of reality in some twisted ways and themes, as we've gotten the first trailer for the upcoming 7th season of Black Mirror. Now the series of course will continue the focus of being an anthology series and focus on stories and topics based on some strange and twisted concepts of reality, and give them a focus on the limelight of this day and age. See a bunch of big name stars come together to tell these tales as one-off stories or continue the narrative of some episodes of the past few seasons. It's to say that this shows that it's a mystery as to what we may get, as they may be as simple as a story of kidnapping or dangers of tech, and can lead to something have some very deep messages about our society as a whole than we expect, or start up some conversations about the meaning of it all, as it may differ depending on the person that watches them, and with a focus of some big name stars this season, including likes of Doctor Who star Peter Capaldi, Awkwafina, Chris O'Dowd, Issa Rae, Paul Giamatti, Rashida Jones, and many more on this bumper season that has been promised to feel more like OG Black Mirror. I'm sure I'll see if that is the case, as a new season is not too far away as well, as it'll be hitting Netflix in just under a month's time on April 10th. And the final trailer for this week is giving us the feeling that on some days that we may experience a feeling like we're just not ourselves. I know that feeling. It's a case of twist of fate and a freak situation, we'll see some iconic faces get mixed up all over again, and adding a few more to that as well. So after the 20 plus years since the original story took place, we have finally gotten a follow-up as we receive the trailer for the upcoming sequel of Freakier Friday. Now, the film will see the return of mother and daughter Tess and Anna, who discovered that the likes of lightning may indeed strike twice in a rare occasion, as the experience they had 2 decades ago seems to take hold again and see them swap bodies, but instead of just the 2 of them, is almost to include Anna's older daughters. So in all case, I can say that the original film with Lohan and Curtis was enjoyable back in the day and a bit of a Disney genre classic. The idea of a follow-up makes a bit of sense, but also is the case we've seen a fair few of these body swap films over the last few years since the original, and a few even from Disney themselves. So maybe it's a case that this one can provide appeal and nostalgia from those that grew up with the original, or maybe we can have something new to stand out to the others, but I guess we'll find out over time, as things will be getting a bit twisted when the film releases in the cinemas from the 8th of August this year. And in case to follow that as well, that's all the trailers that we have for this week too.
I'm doing my part.
Now this week on news-wise, there's not a major amount of story topics for this week to talk on, as we have a selection of small stories that we can focus on for this week. I did initially have a hope of talking on some stuff that were probably mentioned during Mario Day, but all we really got was the announcement of a new Mario Lego set, which I will probably be buying when it comes out in May. And the focus of the first one in this regards anyway, we're going to have a bit of a talking of a casting announcement and a release date for projects from a game highly anticipated from a lot of people, but we can get into the focus discussion on what that was announced from this week, which we'll talk about now. So the first of the focus is with the casting news, as it was a rumored one that was discussed about 3 months ago around Christmas time, and that we are given some form of a bit of a confirmation, but still a little vague as to who they're playing. But it's in the talk in the realm of superheroes, as it was announced this week that Stranger Things, Fear Street, and the whale star of Sadie Sink has been cast in the upcoming 4th entry of the MCU Spider-Man films. Now the question as to who she will be playing in this film is unknown, but there has been a bit of discussion and speculation as to who she will play, with one being the rumored casting she was first approached about of playing the X-Men character of Jean Grey, which could still be a possibility, but the introduction in a Spider-Man film feels a little odd, but we never know. Another one that's been pushed from people or rumored was that she's playing MJ, but again, there's already someone playing MJ in this series, which is of course Holland's now supposedly new fiancée of Zendaya, but the case of her being an alternate universe MJ could make sense. I feel the case of either the X-Men or the push of one of these 2 other characters that could have make more sense, that's either with the character of Firestar or even the introduction of the MCU's equivalent of Gwen Stacy as the But as of right now, it's all speculation and to wonder as to who she will play, but I'm sure we'll learn more in due time between now and by the time this production on this film starts in the summer of this year, before the film releases in the 31st of July next 2026. And as on the basis of the release date focus for this week, after a bit of speculation, a fair bit of silence in the game, the man himself of Hideo Kojima has returned from the realm of being cool on his social medias and brought with him an all new look and official release date for his sequel to Death Stranding, which has now got a confirmed release date of June 26th this year. In the 10-minute clip, they showed some clips of the story, a bit of the updated visuals and gameplay footage mixed in with all the new creatures and things we will come across in this vast journey, as well as the announcement of like the different versions you can get, which is the standard, the digital version, the digital deluxe, and the collector's edition, which includes a statue of one of the new like creature things that we saw in the trailer. And it's a case since you know we come across on this vast journey across the several lands, and I think it does look pretty cool, and I appreciate Mr. Kojima for making some cool ideas and concepts in his games, and I might give it a look down the line at some points. This game's released in the summer, and may give it into look again at the original title, but I look forward to see how this will come about in due time in that sense. But I want to know what you think of these 2 stories. Who do you see Sadie Sink playing in the MCU, and will you be playing the new sequel of Death Stranding in the summer, or what were your opinions on the original first game in this series? Let me know what you think of all down below in the comments, and we can discuss about them there. As for our second stories for this week, is the focus of a new project of 2 new attempts of films or stories that had already been made in the past, getting a new take from some new but familiar faces that may appeal, but let's not waste too much time on this kind of summary wise, and let's get talking on what those projects are themselves. So the first of these announcements with the focus of a new taken character of the characters and stories created by the master of horror storytelling, and it's of course of a new take based on a story from Stephen King. And it's another attempt at a story that he's already seen a film adaptation from, I think like the 80s or 90s, and it's announced this week that Netflix is making a new remake of the classic horror story Cujo. Now nothing else major was announced from this unveiling, besides that the case this film has been produced by the director of Barbarian, which gives it a bit more of a focused chance of being unsettling and scary outcomes, going off his previous films of Companion and Barbarian. And it gives us a sense of, you know, being unsettling, and I'm sure more people will become involved with this project in due time. I'm sure a new modern update to the original story will come around as well, and might appeal in some case. And we do hear anything else about this, I will update in a later piece, of course, when I can. And as for the other new project announcement that we see, a question about doing your part for your country, and and kind in the near future, as it was announced on Friday this week that Neil Blomkamp is in the process of making a new film take on Starship Troopers. Now, it's been established that this film is not going to be a focus on being a remake of the classic 90s blockbuster film, but instead is looking to be more faithful and focused towards the classic novel from 1959. Now, I do like the ideal approach of just the classic story aspects, and I'm sure they may work it out, and I feel they can add a little bit of the classic campiness of all the 90s film, and I'm sure we will learn more about this project in due time when everything else comes from this film and production, but I will also update this project as well down the line when we hear anything. But what I want to know is your thoughts on these projects. Are you up for a new take on Cujo for Netflix and Starship Troopers? Are you interested in that, or do you feel it should be more of new original ideas and leave these original takes on the films as it is? Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and with all that as well, that's all the new news stories that we have for this week too. So it's been a little bit of a while since we've had one of these, but we have an actual new piece to talk about on the focus of a special segment again after a bit of time. And this one is a bit of an update to a project that I talked about a little while ago that has received a bit of an update, so to say. Now, I believe it was about the end of last year or so when I talked about a fellow Irish creator's new product, which was of course fellow Irish creator Irish Panda Queen, who had been development with creating a new energy drink based item that's known simply as Pure Crack. And I provided something in the future when it would come along, and thankfully we do have something to talk about, as it seemed to have entered the realm of production and sales, as they have now officially launched the product back last weekend, and the item is available to buy, or I think in pre-order, in 3 different size pouch options of a 16, 24 or 32 option, and vary from 25 to 45 euro for a bag, with little product pouches of the energy drink, and I thought I would share the support. Granted, I'm not a sponsor with them, but if they want to have some sponsor, I honestly will gladly take the sponsorship and promote the fuck out of it. Now, at the moment, it is in pre-order for international markets and will be available soon, and I believe it's available for where I'm from, I think. But if you want to check it out for yourself and support them, then you can find them on your Instagram at Pure Crack, and you can find the website on their Insta page or by going simply to purecrack.ie. and place your order and give support from the small creators in the process. Help make a success. Even in case if you can, tell them Sam sent you. But I just want to give a little update in that regards, and if you want to try something new, I'd say give it a shot with Pure Crack, and you might find something appealing out of it. And if you want something a bit of a special segment shout out of anything in the case, you can let me know down below in the comments, or even follow me on my socials, and I can try and promote it in some regards, but do let me know.
I don't feel so good.
And with all of that, this ends episode 95 of Weird Mind Newsroom, and I do hope you enjoyed listening to my rambles for quite another week. I'm not going to waste too much time on this conclusion stuff, so we're going to give a quick rundown of all things, updates and stuff. Reviews wise, I will try and get to some at some point. I haven't really been focused in the energy of doing reviews right now. I want to try and at least get the Last of Us Season 1 review done before Season 2 drops in a month. I'll try, it's just going to be the effort, as well as a case of some award Season 1s and some other non-form stuff. I have another 2 films I can at least add to the list of reviews I can give a focus on. I just went to see Mickey 17 today. I enjoyed it a lot. I need to give my full thoughts on it in case before I get some review on my social. And in case with the Plankton movie, I actually enjoyed it a whole lot better than the Sunny Cheeks one. I probably would think it's probably in the top 3 of my favorite SpongeBob film, but the original is still the classic, and I'd say SpongeBob Wars close second. We'll see. So most of these reviews are going to come along eventually, if I have the energy, so apologies for a delay on those ones. Gameplay wise, you might have seen a case as well. I've actually recorded a second part to Mario Wonder. I have actually part 3 as well, which is I think the concluding part of World 2. That will probably come on in the next couple of days in some regards. I'm going to try and record more of that, as well as figure out what I'm going to play on the PS5 and get to Cyberpunk as well at 2 points. And you can check out my other series, The Last of Us, Hogwarts Legacy and Outlast 1 currently right now, but I might play the DLC some point later as well, so look forward to them. And other games will come along as well on the consoles. I'm looking forward to see when Ventilate comes out, because I want to support someone very important to me with their game, because I hope to try it out, because I've followed it from the very beginning when they first showed it to me all those years ago, and I think it looks great. The whole artwork design for the game is fucking phenomenal. And lastly, the case with some long form stuff, I will probably try and get Horror Most Board maybe next month as well. The rewatchathon and the AI videos I'm going to get to at some point as well. I just need to find the motivation and focus to write them. I've just been really all out of it, but I'm going to try and make an effort to try and do stuff with that. So bear with me in that case, and I apologize for like a lack of long form stuff, and it's just been mainly this or some random gameplays. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there for now. So as always, if you like what you see here and you want to see more from me, then simply like and subscribe. I was uploading stuff every single week, as you can clearly tell. There's no worries if you don't want to sub or not. I just appreciate anyone that does or not, but like I still appreciate if you don't and you just check it out. My stuff, I just appreciate all the same case. So thank you for bearing with me and stuff like that. I may not be the most entertaining on this channel or anything in that case, but I just forgive that case in regards. If you like what you see here and you want to talk about more stuff in the case, you can let me know your thoughts about everything that was discussed today down below, as well as a case of if you have anything you want to get shared or supported, you can let me know in the socials or comments, as well as a case it's basically like that. I'm just gonna end it there now. So as always, you all stay being wonderful people. Have a great day every day, doing many great things, and to keep being you, because no one else could do what you do. And I've been your host, Sam, and I'll see you all in the next episode, hopefully. Take care. I'll see you later.